Hey, I'm Randy and I'm the Cheap Audio Man. Here at the Cheap Audio Man, we don't feel like hi-fi equipment, amps, speakers, DACs, turntables, subwoofers, AV receivers, cables should cost more than buying a life-size replica of Darth Vader, the world's favorite villain. And then you can visualize when you're at work and you're on a Zoom call or a conference call and your boss is being difficult to deal with. You can visualize in your mind like when Darth Vader was walking around the table and one of the Empire snooty executives got snarky with his voice. Darth Vader just force choked him and then let him go. You think that I want to do that to the VP. And these don't. What are they? This. Woo boy, these are brand new products coming out today. This is the SMSL SU8s, which is a revision on the SU8, which is a DAC, and the SH8s, which is a revision on their headphone amp. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about these brand new products from SMSL. Today's sponsor is Charlie's Antique Comic Books. Because when you're a kid and you want to buy and spend all your money on comic books and your dad tells you it's a bad investment and that they'll never be worth anything, and then you buy them anyway and it turns out your dad was right. I bought this one right here for $3.50. It's one of the Punishers, and I think it's worth like 35 cents now. So if you want to buy a truckload of old comic books that really aren't worth much, go talk to Charlie. He's got a whole bunch of them. So it's a double review today. We're talking about the SMSL S8HS. No, SH8s. Woo! And the SU8s. Not difficult to say at all. There's lots of S's in there. We're going to talk about the headphone amp first, which is the SMSL SH8s. Okay? They're a revision on the other ones, all right? And I think they are just Shenzhen. I think you can only get these from Shenzhen Audio. Woo, look at this. So it's a balanced headphone. All right. All right. 3 toggles on the front. On, off, XLR or unbalanced or RCA. So that's for the input selection. And then a high-low gain. On the back, we have, looks like 2 balanced headphone inputs. Well, I mean, it's the right and the left. And then the RCA. That's it. Then power. Okay. So I've been listening to this for the past few nights, and it's great. I had the SMSL, let's see, the M200, S200, anyway, it was their THX headphone amp. This actually has better specs than the THX amp. So it puts out 6 watts into 16 ohms and 3 watts into 32 ohms. That's a lot of power. All right, I think this probably could power a set of speakers if it had to. The signal to noise ratio is a whopping 136 dB as reported from SMSL. The THX one was like a 130, I think. So this actually has a higher signal to noise ratio than their THX amp. This amp is dead quiet, doesn't color the music in any way, gets completely out of the way, and just provides you with a mountain of clean power. I tested this with the Monolith M570s, with the Sennheiser HD6XX, with the Fostex T40RP, which are very difficult to drive, with the Dan Clark Aeon RT closed back, and then the Meze 99 Classics. Did great with everything. Actually, I was able to power the Fostex T40RP on low gain. Now, I turned it to high gain, but low gain, it still got plenty loud enough for me. I put it on high gain, though, so I had a little bit of headroom. Great. It's $230. And the THX amp that I had and just gave away to somebody, actually more expensive right now. So better specs, same power, but better specs by a smidge. and cheaper. This is incredible. $230. Incredible measurements and incredible sounding. Actually, it doesn't sound like anything. It just provides power. Clean power. If I was excited to get the SMSL SH8s, I was over the moon to get the SMSL SU8. I don't even know if I'm saying this right. SU8s DAC. I've been getting into some DACs lately, and they've been a lot of fun. There we go. Look at that display, a nice volume knob. On the back, we have balanced outputs. RC, I want to say inputs, but they're not. Balanced outputs, RCA outputs, USB input, coax input right there on the top, if you can see it, or optical input on the top, and then coax, and then Bluetooth, and then power. This thing has a lot of settings, okay? We'll start with the Bluetooth. Bluetooth codecs for this thing. aptX HD, all right? AAC for all the Apple aficionados out there, and SBC, which is like the catch-all codec. Bottom line is this, with the exception of LDAC, is all the Bluetooth codecs you could want. And if your device does aptX HD, it is close to LDAC. It's good Bluetooth. Very good Bluetooth. Is it the best Bluetooth out there? No. But it sounds great. And I think more importantly than the Bluetooth codec is how the DAC sounds that the Bluetooth is going into and then out of. And the good news here is that this DAC sounds fantastic. And not only does it sound fantastic, it has 3 roll-off modes and 10 sound color modes. So you actually have 30 different ways to listen to your music through this. In the sound color modes, you have the standard, which doesn't really do anything. There's no processing going on. And then it goes rich, 1, 2, 3, tube, 1, 2, 3, crystal, 1, 2, 3. So a total of 10 sound color modes. And I noticed when I was listening through headphones and I picked the second filter roll-off, I was able to start adjusting some of the limitations of the headphones to sound the way I wanted them to sound. So in essence, while this is not an EQ per se, or not baked in EQ, you can use this to make some headphones sound better. Case in point, the Monolith M565 has a tendency to be a bit bright for me. And that's after I did actually that headphone's kind of interesting. Stock, that headphone's very warm, and I took the ear pads off and then did some other things to it, and actually the stock ear pads were actually covering up part of the driver, and when I pulled that out, all of a sudden the treble was back to the point where it's almost too much treble now. Point being, I was able to get that calmed down a bit with this DAC. Meze 99 Classics have a tendency to be a bit, I wouldn't say warm, but they lean towards being warm. They're buttery. They're a very nice headphone, one of my favorite headphones. I was able, with the sound color modes here, and actually I put this on the first filter roll-off and then got it into, I think, Crystal 1. Now there's a bunch of detail in your headphone. I did also try this with speakers. It was much more apparent with headphones than it was with speakers, but you will be able to hear a difference when you start to toggle through those filter settings and the different sound color modes. Under the hood on this thing, you have 2 Sabre 9068AS chips, which is the same chipset that's used in the Gustard 816, which has many of the SMSL has many, if not all, the features of that DAC. And guess what? It's $140 less expensive. This is $360 if I didn't mention. It has 5, and this is per the information on the website, 5 high-quality op-amp chips is the OPA 1612 op-amp chips. does that make a difference? I guess it does because they put it in their literature. Also has a DPLL mode, which is a de-jitter mode, which you can actually adjust up and down depending upon if, like for a TV, for instance, you can increase that to make sure that you're getting decent sound out of your TV. I've never seen that before, so it's very cool to be able to adjust the amount of de-jitter. Also has a SPDIF mode, which is normal, or you start to do the processing through the XMOS processor, which is pretty cool again. If you put it into processor mode, you put some of the heavy lifting onto the processor, and I think it can be better. If you do change that setting, though, they recommend that you actually power it down and then power it back up before you start using it again. It has a reported dynamic range of 126 dB on the XLR outs and 125 dB on the RCA outs. Either way, that's fantastic. It's pushing the envelope. Actually, I think this sets the bar for a DAC at this price point with specs. Signal to noise ratio, 126 dB as well. This DAC right here is getting my highest recommendation for DACs. I have been through a ton of DACs, and I haven't found one that has this much freedom in tailoring the sound to your taste. It does MQA on all of the inputs. Flawlessly changes the settings when I was using Roon to run through this, as well as Tidal. Now, Amazon Music HD doesn't have a very good exclusive mode, but this thing, awesome. This, to me, walks all over the iFi Neo ID SD, which is also a balanced DAC, and it's also basically almost twice the price. Has none of the functionality of this, and actually I think this one sounds better. Or you can make it sound better because you have all the freedom to change the settings and make it kind of tailored to what you like. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful product. If you are looking for a DAC, I would try to save up and just go ahead and get this one if you're looking like some $100 DACs. Just save up and get this one because you're going to end up probably getting something like this anyway down the line. So just save up, buy once and cry once, because this DAC is worth every penny of $360. It is, I would imagine, I don't have the Gustard X16, I would imagine this thing goes toe-to-toe with a Gustard at a significantly lower price. If you want to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night we have patron-only Zooms. We also have a patron-only Facebook group. You can also sign up for Amazon Music. You can get 4 months for free if you sign up for Amazon Music. 4, not 5. 4 months for free if you sign up for Amazon Music. Click on the link and sign up. All HD high-res music is now included in Amazon Music, and I get a couple of dollars. You can also use the links to purchase these products. This is going to be linked to Shenzhen Audio tomorrow. I think there's going to be some stock on Amazon. I don't know if it's going to be today or if it's going to be down the line, but you can get this directly from Shenzhen Audio today. So don't binge watch anything on Netflix, Hulu, or HBO Max. Binge listen through your new SMSL, SU8s, and SH8s, and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.